Spencer, a lot of times with these ad reads, we have to pretend that we like a product, but this is not one of those.
Right. This is just classic. We're classic podcast connoisseurs. We know what's up.
Yeah, we do love MeUndies. Secrets Out. That's not just talk.
Right.
We probably love Solid Cologne.
Yeah, definitely.
But we definitely love Matt Bronger.
Matt Bronger.
He's an old friend of mine. I won't say too old because it's showbiz, so let's stay ageless. But he is a fantastic, wonderful person that I have always adored and that I never spend enough time with and never work with enough. But he is really funny and really kind and really awesome. And he has a podcast called
Ding Donger.
Oh, you know about it?
No, wait.
Yeah. No, it's okay. You can know about it.
No, I've heard ads for it. It seems like a great
It's a weekly podcast with actor and comedian Matt Bronger. You can go for a spin with him as he shares stories, observations, and advice with episodes perfectly curated for half-hour car rides. Does that mean he's driving during the podcast?
He better not be, because that's my idea.
Oh, shit.
I wonder if that's done, because that is my idea.
Maybe you can go on Ding Donger. You know what you could do is you can leave a voicemail message for him, and he'll address it on his podcast.
Oh, wow.
I don't have a number for that, but you just know that you can do that.
Well, I bet if you like and subscribe to it on iTunes, the number reveals itself to you.
Yeah, this is already on the air. I'm acting like it's new. Recent episodes have included tales of harrowing bike rides in Southeast Asia, horror stories from Chicago public transit, and advice about everything from the creative process to the terrifying nature of bird-eating insects.
Just don't miss a single episode. Just make sure you don't... Sorry. Make sure you don't miss a single episode. Subscribe to Ding Donger with Matt Bronger on iTunes, Stitcher, feralaudio.com, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Matt Bronger. He couldn't be brighter.
Today's episode is brought to you by Last Rampage, the new true crime film starring Robert Patrick, Heather Graham, and Bruce Davison. And we had the pleasure of speaking to someone involved with the movie.
So, my name is Alvaro Rodriguez. I'm the screenwriter for The Last Rampage. As a writer, to me, I'm less interested in genre and more interested in character. And, I've written in a lot of different genres, kind of horror genre, thriller, or action movie, or kids movie, or, different kinds of things. And I was always more interested in character and hadn't really quite done something like this before, but was just really drawn to this idea of a guy like Gary Tyson who, had been in and out of institutions from the time he was, a kid, and having sort of raised three sons from behind bars. And how these three sons kind of grew up in the Church of Gary and thinking that their father had been, unjustly accused and unjustly convicted and all of this stuff that they were getting fed from their mom, Dorothy, who's played in the film by Heather Graham. So to me, it was just, I was interested in telling that kind of a story, telling a family story. To me, the most interesting stories are family centered in some way. They're elemental stories. They're stories that go back to, to the most intimate and elemental parts of ourselves. So the idea of fathers and sons, there's a line in the script in the movie about that, where Gary tells his oldest son, Donnie, there's only one law you got to worry about, and that's the law of fathers over sons. And the only way you're going to, get past that is, by this, by dying, basically. But kind of threatens him a little bit. But so that was really, the touchstone for me, trying to figure out how to tell that story.
Don't miss Last Rampage, the true story of the prison break of Gary Tyson. In theaters and available on iTunes and all on-demand platforms today. For more information, visit truecrimelive.com or follow the movie on Twitter at Last Rampage Film or on Facebook.com/Last Rampage Film.
Good evening, Meltdown Comics in Hollywood, California. How is everybody doing tonight? Hear ye. Harmontown is now in session. Please for your absolute delight and abject entertainment, please welcome to the stage the mayor of Harmontown, Mr. Dan Harmon.
I'm slipping on the street, and I'm slipping up the hill. Yeah, I'm looking for a lover.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Jeff Davis for comptrolling again tonight. Thank you, Jeff, for coming back.
And how about for those of you who were here and listened to it, Erin McGathy as guest comptroller last week. You guys hear that?
She did all right.
It was really, it was adorable.
She had her moments.
It was adorable.
It's a different dynamic, most assuredly.
Well, because we're not fucking.
Right. I saw recently on Apple TV the Gray was on with Liam Neeson. It's Liam Neeson fights wolves.
Anybody by applause? Anybody has seen this movie?
Like a good 8 to 10 people.
Yeah, I have not seen this movie.
Liam Neeson is a professional wolf hunter for a corporation. He's on a plane. It goes down. He spends the rest of the movie with like 9 guys that slowly get picked off one by one by these wolves that are around them. I imagine the luck of being a wolf hunter, and then they didn't go down in the water, thank God, or he would have been like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. No, he knew exactly what was going on, and he wasn't very encouraging to the other people. He was very informative about wolves, and I've been talking like Liam Neeson about wolves like for the last 2 weeks about everything. When I'm making a sandwich, if somebody says like, "Is there mustard?" I go, "They don't give a fuck about mustard. They're killing machines." And if they've got cubs and we're within 150 yards of them, we're already dead.
Wait, I have a question because I've not seen this film. So,
What's your question?
Can I ask you, Liam Neeson, some questions about the movie that you're?
Your questions don't matter. We're surrounded by biological killing machines. But go ahead.
If you're a wolf hunter, how come everybody keeps dying? Shouldn't you be the right?
I'm not a wolf hunter. Wolves are the hunters. They aren't hunted. They don't give a fuck what we do. They've been around for 5 billion more years than us. They've got a mouth full of weapons. They've got 6 legs. That's good. The whole movie takes place in the Arctic or somewhere cold.
I'm sorry.
So they just keep walking and building fires, and he keeps explaining how fucked they are. And I never watched the end because I know from the trailer that he glues glass to his fists and faces off with what's probably the last wolf. I didn't bother to. I saw that in the trailer. I just watched like an hour and a half of him telling everyone they're fucked, and that nothing they say matters. There's a in the first act. There's a guy that's like, so what kind of wolves are these, man? What are they like herbivores? They eat like nuts and berries. They don't give a fuck about nuts and berries. Like that's a real line from the movie. The word fuck is in that movie more than anything, more than a Scorsese film. Like everyone's saying fuck in ways that you never even heard the word fuck used. They're just past the fuck salt. There is no fucking salt. We're in a frozen sea surrounded by killers. They've got a kill range of 300 kilometers. If we're within half of that and they've got cubs, we're already dead.
How did I have questions about that. I don't want to see the movie.
The movie doesn't matter. Do you think these things give a fuck what you watch on a screen? They just want to eat your face. They can see you 300% further than you can see them. Their eyes are like microscopes and telescopes taped to each other. Their noses are sharper than their teeth.
Their noses are sharper than their teeth?
Yes.
Who would win in a fight, a bear or a wolf?
They don't fight. They hunt. Sorry, what was the rest of the question? I got distracted by something I could dismiss.
I was saying wolf versus bear.
They're not wolves. Oh, I'm sorry, they are.
Sorry, I jumped the gun. Our guns don't matter, but I jumped them.
I can't verify because I don't think I've seen enough of his films to know if you're doing a good Liam Neeson impression right now or not.
I think it's pretty good.
It sounds pretty good. Is it good? I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty early in the night for the audience to be sarcastic. Those of you who were here last week, I bet none of you were here last week because I went headlong for Inception's throat. Like an angry wolf. And you could feel the rift between me and the flock. It just, Bo Peep almost got sheeped to death.
Well, see, I was listening to it just, the audio, the podcast version of it. I didn't sense that the audience was that disgruntled by your hatred.
It's their faces. You see their faces. Just watch. You at home that are listening on the podcast, you won't be able to participate in this, but just, Jeff, you focus on them. I don't know. Inception, it's kind of dumb. So look at that guy. Look at that guy.
Yeah, he looks horrified.
Yeah, but Harmontown is a plan that we have to form a colony because I think we feel we don't want to be dire about this. We don't feel like the world is ending terribly soon. It's not like a huge emergency. But it takes a long time to start a city of people who can carry humanity's torch. So what we want to try to do, probably on the moon. I keep thinking it's got to be on the moon because I just don't know. There's no place in Texas that's going to let us do this. And I don't want to go anywhere where there's like mosquitoes.
They tried that once, and the ATF came down pretty hard.
Yeah, don't groan it. I mean, groan the government. It's bad form to burn people alive. It's a terrible, terrible way to govern.
I feel like it is too, actually.
We have to talk about religion. We have to talk about politics. We have to talk about what we would do with our unseemly citizenry. Like, what do you do if somebody does something you don't like? It's going to happen in a room full of 200 people. Like, you sir, do something that nobody likes.
Fuck Batman.
He said, fuck Batman.
I like that.
Now what do we do? Now what do we do with him?
We fuck him. An eye for an eye.
Fuck him?
Yeah, you fuck Batman, we fuck you. It's not that hard, governments.
We figured it out. That's it. All right. Now what do we do? Let's play charades.
Also, a lot of my answers are, I'm just going to fuck you.
That was good. Thank you for doing that. That's not easy to be called upon. I'm like a drowning man in a pool. You don't have to applaud him. That's ridiculous.
That was good.
You can if you want, but don't ever do anything here that you feel compelled to do. That's bad governing.
Did you not like the new Batman?
No.
I haven't seen it either. I've given up on movies. I don't even want to go to them anymore. So you didn't like the new Batman? I haven't heard anything good about it.
It was silly.
Silly. It's silly, he says.
We should give this guy an identity. What's your name?
Max.
You should get a microphone, for fuck's sake.
Well, you can have one if you want. Well, here's a Batman we can talk about because a lot of you people didn't even see it, and the ones who did probably blocked it out. Remember the Tommy Lee Jones Two-Face? I was explaining this to my 27-year-old girlfriend today. It was like explaining like Korea or something. Like she was going, "What? Come on!" Like Batman was sitting in the courtroom.
Wait,
it was just hanging out because she started laughing. We were actually watching the second Batman, which everybody agrees is like that's a pretty it's certainly the best Batman movie we've ever seen.
Are you saying it's like Korea in that there's North and South, that it's divided like Two-Face?
No.
Down the middle of his face, there's the 38th parallel of.
No, I apologize. I'm all over the place tonight. I meant like I'm like an old veteran, and I'm going, well, she's going, what were you fighting about, Grandpa? I'm like, well, we wanted the Korea to be different. Well, who gives a shit about Korea now? I don't know. We gave a shit back then.
What if the character of Two-Face was actually a trenchant commentary on the Korean conflict?
I don't remember which movie it was. It was either, I think it was the Danny DeVito as the Penguin one. I think it was still Michael Keaton was Batman sitting in the courtroom in his Batman outfit. And they show the origin of Two-Face in the form of a newsreel. And Tommy Lee Jones is questioning a mob guy. And the mob guy doesn't like the way it's going. So he pulls out, as they do, a jar of acid from his, the pocket of his double-breasted suit coat.
Your jar pocket.
And he flings it at Tommy Lee Jones, who it's a visual thing. I'll do what he did visually first. He uses a manila folder to block exactly half his face. And that's how he became Two-Face. And he has a contentious relationship with Batman, as Aaron Eckhart's Two-Face does with Christian Bale's Batman. In this version, just because, where were you when I got that acid on half of my face? And the answer is, I was sitting there in the courtroom and I just couldn't get over the gallery thing. Like, they show a shot of Batman trying to get over the courtroom, like, little people's court flappy door. It couldn't be more ridiculous. You'd have to show Batman, like, taking a shit to ruin the mythology more for nerds. Like, I just sat there in the theater and looked at Schraub, and Schraub looked at me, and we started making out. I understand the appeal of Batman. Somewhere in our heart, we want a guy out there that's like rich, which represents the fact that America, it does work. It's okay to be capitalist. But, we need a hero. We need a Prometheus who uses his godlike powers to, uphold our value system. We're very...
But Max, you said the new one is silly.
Yes, it's a little silly.
They're not taking it seriously enough.
Well,
or
maybe a little too serious.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Well, you know what Liam Neeson would say about Batman? Doesn't matter.
I'm determined that Liam Neeson pays off at some point tonight.
He probably will. There's no payoff. You're not going to get paid. You're going to get eaten. It's a weird crowd tonight. I'm going to blame them. I blame them. I don't know what they did wrong. I don't know what you guys ate.
I kind of blame myself. I feel like I blew it by leaving town for 1 week, and the continuity has just gone to shit.
They're like, where's this show that I got all excited about where the couple bitches at each other? And then they bring other couples up and ruin.
Can I? Cause I was out of town. I hang out with Aaron and Dan quite a bit, and I see them. They have their little moments of cuddling and schmoopy schmoops, and then they frequently have their moments when you're at the Great Greek having Greek food, and they're fighting about the new improv idea that we have for 40 minutes, and it's an impenetrable, lonely place to be, sitting across the table from them, and then I justify an exit, and I have an ouzo with a guy named Nikos, and I come back and they're still talking about the improv group, and then one of them goes to the bathroom and I depose that person and say, is this better or worse than being alone? And then they pause for 8.5 seconds, and in that pause I leave and have another ouzo with Nikos, and I come back and there's no answer. Then they come back and you guys are making out and you guys look so happy together, and then you probably go home and have the worst sex of your lives.
I have no qualification for that. That's true. That's it.
So after that podcast, because there were moments, you're very self-revelatory, and then what happened after that podcast? Did you guys go home and did you get Baskin Robbins and get a sundae, or did you go home and strangle each other?
It wasn't really revelatory. That's just I'm dating me now. I'm dating myself with red hair. I'm dating another person that's like me. This is not we don't balance each other out. We just sink every boat that we step onto. Because we just go straight to the asshole section, which is there's only one seat there. We sit on each other. We argue about it as we sink.
They don't call the stern of the boat the asshole section.
But who wants to die alone? That sounds
Me.
I see it at the finish line. I don't know. I don't like when I'm alone. I'm not alive. I don't know that I exist when I'm alone. I feel like there's like a swarm of black CGI insects eating my fucking skeleton from under my skin. I feel like something wrong is happening. Like that's when I'm feeling anything. I just don't feel like I exist. I'm a mouth with a brain on it and like two little legs to walk it around and make people listen to my bullshit. I can't if I'm just walking around an empty house. I can't talk to anybody. I don't. I'm not alive.
You don't talk to yourself when you're at home?
I haven't had enough experience with it, but no, I don't. I'll maybe mutter something like, well, why isn't bathtub's not working? How am I going to make the jets shoot up my ass? I don't know. Where did I put that mannequin leg? Can't find it. Frickin'. I just do Hanna-Barbera mumbles.
Frickin' frick. I don't get it.
I don't get it either, but I know what I like. I like a good woman to hate me. No, we love each other. Now we're gonna get a big fight about. Aaron takes everything I say at the stage. Not everything I say very seriously. Aaron and I get in fights sometimes about. When I'm.
For those of you listening in podcast land, she's in row 2, seat F.
When I stand up here for an hour, and for those of you who are new here tonight, in case you haven't figured this out, what I do in the show is I stand up here for an hour and waste everyone's time. While I'm doing that, I say whatever I can possibly think to say to make you not get mad at me and throw a rock at me. So in scrambling to say things that get rocks not thrown at me, I sometimes will say something that in the drive home, like Aaron will go, so you like raspberries, huh? I don't know. I don't know. It just seemed like the funnier word to use. I was like, wow, raspberry. It's you called me that when you were mad at me. That's a terrible example. Why didn't I? Stupid. Is this the worst Harmontown show ever?
So far.
Okay. Well, maybe we should talk about that. That's let's go where the energy is.
Let's wallow.
I can answer your job-related questions. I can answer questions that you raise your hand and shout out. I could arm wrestle one of you. Or we could talk about the fact that the show sucks tonight, since that's in the air.
We have a quorum. Arm wrestle. Arm wrestle this.
Who wants to arm wrestle?
Get out here.
All right. All right.
What is your name, sir?
It's BJ.
BJ, you have a what could only be described as a fuchsia hat on. I don't know what Renaissance fair you were recently expelled from, but I'm glad you could take time out of your busy swashbuckling career to challenge. If you need like a big ostrich plume. I think that would really put it over the edge. Nice purse. He's getting heckled.
He doesn't deserve that, because for those of you listening in podcast form, a guy came up to arm wrestle me that is already a better show just when he woke up this morning than anything that.
I guess I have to do the Vin Scully check her and play-by-play on this one. Well, there's a man on stage right now wearing a smart little leather purse, it's kind of like a Louis Vuitton kind of thing. It's got a gold chain.
No, it's not. It's gold.
No, it's what?
It's gold.
It's gold. He has a golden satchel. He has a lady's scarf from season 4 of The Love Boat. So he has a shirt that says "A Wicked Lot of Laughter," which I guess you're recently at a Boston Comedy Festival. I would imagine from that. He's wearing sky blue Crocs, and I'm not fucking joking. Podcast, the man. It's complicated. He's got big hair. He looks like John the Baptist from Rembrandt's Decapitation. And I'm really going to throw a fucking wrench in this thing. He's put his left hand up on the stool.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. We're going lefty on this one. Are you lefty, BJ? No, you're not. Have I taken time out of this yet to describe his turquoise Varney ironic glasses? Look, believe me, I'm all for it. This is fucking fantastic stuff. Is anyone taking photos? I want this on Instagram immediately.
All right, you call the go.
I'm gonna put my hand on top of both of your hands here. Two great competitors for a worthy cause. When I take my hand off, I want you to begin. The first person to put somebody over the edge of the stool sets the tone for the rest of what may be the worst or best Harmontown.
Okay.
And begin.
Okay, let's make it for $50.
It's kind of a stalemate.
He's thinking I can't win because then I'm an enemy of the show. But
he's toying with you.
Trying to make it interesting.
He has a bracelet on, which means he went to a club last night or recently gave blood.
So maybe.
Have I described it? He's got a fucking violet hat on. A violet. He looks like Miss Marple. No, what does he look like? What does he look like? He's just fucking with you.
I can't. We're just both.
Finish him, BJ. Finish him. Finish him, BJ. Harmon. They're cheering over nothing. They're still locked right at the top. It's been the Eiffel fucking Tower the entire time. Harmon. BJ. Gold purse. Complicated outfit. This is okay.
Oh my God!
Day 3. Dan took his scarf off. Dan removed his scarf. It's like Samson's hair. Oh, he took his Dan has put the guy's hat on his own head.
Oh my God!
Now Dan looks like he's going to solve a crime in Victorian England.
Their hands are gonna
Fucking Jesus. Day 3.
I propose we work together.
Work together.
He nodded.
It's a tie. It's a fuzzy tie. Oh. Very noble of you, BJ. Very noble of you. See, I guess on the moon, Harmontown just going to be a bunch of pussies who give up in the middle of a fight. When we get attacked by Mars, we're just going to go, fuck it, you guys, whatever you want. BJ, everybody, BJ.
Thank you, BJ.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt Dan's drunken ramblings. I'm Jeff Davis from Harmontown, here to talk about Warby Parker glasses. Do you need glasses? Do you wear glasses? Is your eyesight all fucked from playing Bubble Witch or whatever the stupid game you play? My eyes are just dying from these stupid games. You stare at it and then you try to look up and you can't see shit. I'm 43 and my eyes are dying because of Bubble Witch. God damn it. Warby Parker has glasses that are really cool. They're kind of vintagey, retro-y kind of stuff, and they look great, and they're cheap as shit. They're less expensive than glasses generally are, which is dumb because people need them. Or maybe you don't need glasses and you just want to look professorial and kind of groovy. Warby Parker makes it very easy to order glasses. They have a free home try-on program where you order 5 pairs of glasses, you try them on for 5 days. There's no obligation to buy them. It ships for free, and you can ship them back for free. You go to warbyparker.com/Harmon to order your free home try-ons today. The glasses start at $95, which is cheap. That includes prescription lenses, anti-glare and anti-scratch coatings, and every pair you buy, another pair is distributed to someone in need. I'm hoping that it's refugees. I mean, because Syrians, holy shit, they need glasses. I did it. I ordered them. They come so easy. Boom. There's a box. There's a bunch of glasses in there. You pick the ones you like. You look in the mirror and you go, these suck, these rule. You pick the ones that you like. Also, if you don't have any personal awareness or any sense of identity, after you get your glasses from warbyparker.com/Harmon, you can also go to the Warby Parker app from the iTunes App Store, which allows you to quickly take photos wearing all the frames, stitch it into a video, and share it with friends and family to help you pick a winner. Because you don't know what you like. You need other people's opinions because you're a spineless ooze. warbyparker.com/Harmon. They're glasses. They're cheap. They're awesome. Fuck you. Back to Harmon.
Dan, I hate to tell you this. He was never here. We all just imagined that.
That is someone I'd invent. But then Sony would go, no, make it grounded, will you? That's how we'll settle disputes. And it'll be easier on the moon because it's 1/6 the gravity. Yeah. Jesus, we were both trying not to win, kind of.
Who do you think actually had it, to be honest?
Who what?
Who do you think actually would have taken that one if it had been like...
Anybody that's ever arm wrestled me wouldn't win. I couldn't do a pull-up in grade school. I was always like, did everybody go to grade schools where they made you do pull-ups, like the gym class? It's my imagination. I don't want to insult you guys, but I would like to think that everyone in a Harmontown town meeting is all of the people who couldn't do one pull-up. And we want to prove that you don't need to. Like, what it should say in Latin on the flag is our gym teacher was wrong. people die of heart attacks every day. Some of them were good at football, some of them weren't. Like, it has no bearing on lifespan, no tax bracket. It doesn't. It's just some shit that we were doing back then to just make everyone uncomfortable and kill time. They should have let us play Dungeons and Dragons more. I don't mean to bait you guys, but I'm a little winded by that experience. So, somebody ask me the most embarrassing thing in the world.
What's your favorite D&D character?
What was my favorite? The one that I played.
What is your favorite?
One you like the most.
What is Dan? Just to repeat, in case we don't pick this up over podcasting, what is Dan's favorite D&D character?
My character that I played was named Jim Nightblade. I was always partial to the throwing knife type, the thief, the assassin.
Can you describe to me your dungeon master? Did you have a good one?
Yes, Graham was the name of our dungeon master. He's the greatest dungeon master that ever lived. Because he was just insanely like smart and like Graham had hair down to his shoulders. He never washed it, and this was before Weezer, so it mattered. He had these big, thick, brown framed glasses, and he only had like 8 shirts, and they were all from different state parks. Like, because it was obvious that like he had a kind of like adventure nature fixation. I think it was like his dad maybe just like flew the coop, and like you pictured him out there like climbing mountains in sandals or something, and he kind of like he had all these T-shirts that would have like a howling wolf on them, and it would say Montana, and then the next one would just say Alaska, and there'd be 2 owls on a branch. Those were all his T-shirts, but they all had permanent sweat stains in the armpits, and the kids in school would just their whole 4-year high school experience was just the only thing that they got from Graham. I got worlds that he created with his mind, and had a whole birth as a human being courtesy of Graham. For the rest of the high school kids, they just figured out 90 ways to trick someone into raising their arms so they could laugh at his. They go, hey, where are the lights? Where are the lights? Oh, they're up there. Look, there's a sweat stain in his armpit. Yeah, God, when is that going to get tired? But he carried a woman's briefcase everywhere he went because it didn't.
BJ.
He fetishized Spock from old school Star Trek. Like he really, as a lot of like super nerds do, like they latch onto Spock or Data if they're younger, because it's like it's logic instead of like all these trappings, like all this shit that makes no sense. Like, can you dribble a basketball, and what did you? Why are you with no white pants after Labor Day or whatever the fuck? This stuff it's not. There's nothing logical about it. So you escape into this idea that you're just pure brain, and that's what Graham was. And he could have gotten a man's briefcase if he had wanted to. But he that wouldn't have been logical. Why would he buy a man's briefcase to appease like some kind of weird? So he just walked around with this
what was in the briefcase?
Dungeons and Dragons equipment, and all of his perfect homework assignments that he probably did on the bus with his mind and a laser pencil.
Do we know where he is now? Have you followed up with this guy?
I think he ended up going to MIT. Either that or he was a pathological liar. But he said I think he always wanted to go to MIT, and I think he got accepted there. And I never really saw him again. Actually, I did. I was in my 20s. He came and hung out, and he had a big tank of nitrous oxide in the back of a pickup truck. And a garbage bag, and we just
maybe he was a dentist.
We just huffed nitrous all night out of a big giant plastic bag and talked about science, and then he left again. He was like Laszlo in Real Genius.
That's why I picture him. I'm picturing that.
That's a good image to have. I don't know if he could pull off that beard, but. He was the greatest dungeon master in the world.
What makes you a good dungeon master?
You have to be the world's biggest nerd and strangely arrogant about it. You have to be so proud of like how like smart and logical you are.
Didn't we try to play this? As adults, like with Joe?
Yeah. I tried to dungeon master. It was terrible. It was the worst.
You think you would be good at being a dungeon master?
No,
you're an arrogant nerd.
Yeah, I am, but not arrogant enough. Just I don't know. Maybe I smoked too much pot in my life or something. I don't know what it is. I'm not good at at it. I worry too much about what people think about me. That's what it is. You can't be a good dungeon master if you're worried about doing a good job as a dungeon master. Has everybody got that?
Anybody else have another question? Do you want something embarrassing again?
Yeah, try to dig deep, man. Fucking
trying to embarrass you.
Yeah, make this a memorable night. So that when you walk out of here, you don't go, I was at the shitty Harmontown. You go, I was at the one where fucking a pedophile tried to attack Dan. And then they wrestled each other to the ground, and then he took off the pedophile's mask.
He wasn't a pedophile. He just had a purple hat on.
Oh, that's not what I did. Oh, sorry, BJ. I wasn't referring to you.
Wow.
Jesus.
Terrible.
I saw a hand shoot up over there. Oh, that was BJ waving. Okay.
Anybody?
I'm not an underage child, BJ. Stop waving.
We got
at
one
me.
back there. Yes.
What's the most embarrassing thing you did as a kid?
Most embarrassing thing you've done as a kid.
Aside from constantly shitting my pants, just constantly.
What do you mean constantly shitting your pants?
Just all the time, just always pooping my pants.
Is that a medical condition? Is that a thing?
I don't know. I didn't like to go to the bathroom, and
there's your problem.
You know, like when you're a kid, I don't know. I'm not gonna try to put this off on you guys if you didn't have a similar experience. But when you're a kid and you're just learning to poop, but you're also learning to read. Learning to poop. And sometimes you're sitting there reading a book. Like I used to read, I'd just sit cross-legged on the floor and be reading a book, and then I'd feel like, I gotta take a shit.
Get up!
Get up! It's Asimov. I'm not gonna get up. I want to finish reading iRobot. It's amazing.
You're still going to be seated when you read.
I didn't get that part. I didn't understand that. I just would shit my pants.
Wait, you're saying you were that into that book, or you're that lazy, or what's?
I don't really.
Maybe you just have a weird.
Maybe I have less muscle control. I don't know. Kids do it. Kids shit their pants, man. You're acting like you're acting like they don't, and they do. Kids shit their pants.
I'm not just like playing like the foil to you right now. I've never heard of anyone that constantly shit their pants. Old people, not little people.
Do you remember that? Remember when we had Adam come up and read that email from my brother? Remember that?
Yes.
And he referred to a story that my mom told about how they used to put me in a closet when I was a kid with books. That's a reference to when I was in kindergarten. I already knew how to read. And they wanted to know how well I could read because I came into kindergarten. I can read, so they would. This is in the 70s. It wasn't politically incorrect to like track kids and stuff. If you were, they wanted to know who's smart, who's dumb, how smart are you, how smart can you be, and all this stuff. We later realized it's kind of a fucked up thing to do. But back then in the 70s, it was the Wild West. Everyone was looking for Meteor Man, and I could read, so they would take me. This lady, Miss Piano, would come and she would get me. All the kids would start playing with blocks and stuff, and then this beautiful. I remember it was beautiful and tall, but it was probably the third woman I'd ever seen, and I was 2 feet tall. So, and she would take me to this closet. It was like a storage closet filled with all these books and like overhead projectors and stuff. And then it's not like they could devote resources to that. So they would just sit there. So she would put a book in front of me and she'd go, read this chapter, then answer the questions at the end of it. Give me a piece of paper.
She would separate you from the rest of the kids.
Yeah.
Put you in a room.
It turned out to be a great idea.
You're like the Count of Monte Cristo in there.
Yeah. So the kids loved me for it. It was great because I would come back to recess and they'd be like, oh, whew, it's our hero. It's the... Please. We were just learning football. Let us catch you up on things. No, it was. I'm not complaining. I got to read a lot of dumb shit about nothing I can remember. But they would go, okay, and then fill out this thing after you finish reading it. But then she'd take off. So that just reminded me of that thing because I had to pee really bad, but I was in kindergarten. I never had gone pee without somebody helping me go pee before. And she told me when the bell rings, you can go to lunch. And for some reason, I knew what that meant, that I would be able to get up out of the chair and go to lunch. But she never came back, and I had to pee really bad, and I couldn't tell time. So I just knew I was waiting for this bell to ring so I could get up and go to lunch, and then maybe I could get someone to help me pee. But I just stared at this clock, and I never knew. And then I was just like, if you've ever tried to hold your pee, like, and then when you're a little kid, your little bladder, it hasn't fought any dragons yet, you haven't... You haven't gone to your any frat parties or anything. Like it's just a little muscle, just like trying to hold in all those Flintstones vitamins and things. And so I just stared at this mysterious circular dial, and then the bell never rang. And then I was just like, all right, here goes nothing. And I just pissed myself. And as I was pissing, I don't know if it's I don't know if it's the same for women, but once you start, you can't just. It's not like a. It's not like a valve. It's like
Pringles.
Start and then it's like Pringles. It's a lot like Pringles.
Once you pop,
yeah. So at the apex of me relieving myself in my little Oshkosh Bagosh overalls with a little iron-on D on the front of them. For real, which I called my D pants. My mom made them out of red denim, and they had a little blue cornflower blue D, that little, and I called them my D pants, and I always wanted to wear them, and so these are what I'm pissing in, and the bell's ringing while and so now the bell rang, so now I can leave. So I just remember getting up and just looking back at this chair in the middle of a storage closet with a big puddle of piss around it, and kind of going like, well, fuck her, clean up your mess. And then I went downstairs to lunch, and I for some reason I thought that because it was in my pants, I thought that the semantics of peeing in your pants somehow applied to the privacy and the containment. I didn't understand yet that it's darker where all the pee is, and it looks like I just rode a horse made of spray paint. I'm just down in the lunch line, and I'm wearing my little red denim pants, and I just have a black saddle, whatever you'd call that. And I remember my brother was down there. My big brother is 5 years older, and he my brothers. It's important to have a big brother. Like, they can stick up for you to bullies and stuff like that. And so I came down to the lunch line, and my brother looked and went like, "Jesus Christ, did you piss your fucking pants?" And all the sixth graders were like, "Holy shit, he did." They were actually more embarrassed for me than my brother. My brother wanted to talk it out a little more.
Were you there at the Price is Right when the woman peed her pants? You weren't there, right?
No. Doesn't that happen every week?
Well, we're both friends with Drew Carey, and he just got the job, and I went to go see him. We haven't talked about this in the show before, have we? God damn it was so good. I went to go see Drew, and he's like, "Hey, come on down to Price is Right. I really love doing this job. It's really fun. Come down. I'm hosting this thing. It's like a big rock concert. It's great.
Keep talking. I'm gonna get a drink.
All right, Dan's gonna make a drink. And so, but you're right there in the thick of it, and it's pretty exciting. And if anyone's ever been to the to a taping of that, it's like going to a Beatles concert. People are so happy, and so people are screaming. It's really delightful. And you got the little yodely guy that goes up the thing. And
God damn it, I love that fucker.
Yeah. So Dan was there, like, kind of bashful, like when you're getting your Plinko chips, and you're like, "Does a kitty litter cost $35? It costs $25." And Dan's like, "It costs $35. That's the kitty litter. I buy the same kitty litter." I'm like, "Yell it out." And Dan's like, no. She's looking at the audience like, "You have the same kitty litter." You yell, "Hey, I don't know." You got really nervous about it. You're like, "35. And she gets it right. And it's like, it's exciting as shit.
Yeah.
So there's a woman that gets up there, and she, I don't know, I would maybe put her at 40-ish, and probably a mom, couple kids, and just a nice lady, got little mom jeans on, a little blouse, and she comes up and she's down in the contestants row, and I'm sitting right behind her, and I'm sitting with a bunch of Marines, and this woman, she's one of the first people called down. She's there from the very beginning, and from the get-go, she is losing her mind, but she's also holding her crotch in the pee-pee dance fashion. So she's doing like that, like she's happy as can be, but she's holding her pussy, like a little baby holds. You hold your crotch when you think that can stop the flow, and it can't. But you do your best. It's mind over matter. And she's just smiling and happy. She overbids on the washer and dryer, and then they go up and do that. Then she overbids or underbids on the pool table, and then they go to commercial, and she's still there. And she now is like, every time she's still so happy to be up there, but now she's holding on for dear life, and front and back. So one around the front, one around the back.
She's worried that it's like whack-a-mole. That it's.
Yeah, it's like that. So the best game in the Price is Right universe is, of course, Plinko. And when Plinko comes out, it's like it's bedlam. People go mad, and first of all, you don't know. She bids, she wins, she comes up on stage, the curtain goes up, it's Plinko, and at that moment, when she had come up on stage, I could see the little saddle of the spray paint horse pee-pee stain on the thing. She had wet herself. And she was still holding on to herself. She had let a little go. And the whole audience is like, ah, my God, whoa! No, sorry. She gets up on stage. She's one of the things. She hugs Drew. We see the pee. I'm now embracing two Marines. Like we're we're closing ranks. And then the Drew can't see it. The whole audience can see that she's pissed herself a little bit. Then the curtain goes up and Plinko comes out, and then it's fucking over. She's just doesn't care. She's jumping about. She's just as happy as can be. And she's peed herself, and the whole audience is like, because you put yourself up on stage and like, oh baby, like you're you're on camera and like your family but she just doesn't care. So she becomes everybody's hero. And I believe you get 5 little chips, right? You get one for free, and then you get 4 bid prices and things like that. And she gets them all. She just nails them. That's 12, that's 14, that's 38. She just nails the clock radio. And she's got all of her chips. And only at that moment, because Drew Carey has to follow her up the staircase to ascend the heights of the Plinko.
Drew's the last one to know.
Yeah, Drew is the last one to know. Because Drew just Drew's only been hosting the show for a few months, and he's kind of seen a lot of stuff go down. But clearly there's some other frisson in the air where it's like something else.
He's just going, why is this woman so focused and clear-headed?
Yeah, right.
It's as if she doesn't have anything left to care about other than getting prices right.
Also, the audience is in some weird kind of just like we're all just holding on to each other, and we're just like we just don't want her to be embarrassed. We don't want to see a woman realize what's going on and run off the stage, and we just don't want to see something terrible happen. So she gets up on stage and she beats Plinko's dick all around the fucking room. It's just fucking 10,000, 5,000, 10,000, 2,000. Like she just lights it up. And she won, I think, the second most money in Plinko history. And Drew was the last person up the stairs, and he finally figured out what was going on in the room. And he goes, all right, so-and-so, go up the stairs. Oh, boy. Because he was absolutely eye level with her pants. And he goes, okay, let's just get you up here and facing the other direction. And he got it. And they took her backstage. I don't know if they gave her a new pair of pants or they gave her a hair dryer. But she came out. She won the fucking Showcase Showdown, and the entire building was chanting her name. Because and I wish I could remember. I wouldn't repeat it. But God fucking bless you for peeing your pants and not caring. That's cruel. None of us would do it. None of us would do it.
All right. What is your advice, writes an audience member, for screenwriters looking to get into writing for TV? Obviously, I'm the last person you should be asking.
That's not true, because you have shows.
Well, I remember what I did. Yeah, don't do what I did afterward. How do you get into, I swear to God, this is going to sound like a glib, jaded thing, but I swear to God, it's my honest answer. It's not a jaded, cynical thing like it's going to sound. Don't have an idea like that much. Don't. Community wasn't. It's just Cheers. It's just Taxi. TV is not. We're not going to a sitcom to have our minds blown by the concept of the sitcom. That's my best advice for TV, because I think too many people make that mistake. Science fiction, maybe, if you want to do a sci-fi drama, then maybe what's drawing people in. I've never written that stuff or pitched that stuff to anybody. So,
but you're about to go back into the market potentially and write another half-hour show, right?
Yeah, I'm closing some deals.
But do you have ideas, or are you going to?
No, absolutely not. And I would be a bad sitcom writer if I had any ideas. My ideas start because the system it's got its own momentum, and what the tough thing for TV writers to learn is that you want to. Yeah, it's really important to be super talented. That's fantastic if you can manage that. But what you really need to do is understand that everyone wants to help, and they're all getting paid a lot of money to help. So just work less and think less. You're going to be just as talented a writer whether you think a long time about what you want to write or not. What you're being paid to do is be smart on paper and the execution of a script, but they want to say, could he work at a pickle store? Just say yes. Yes. The answer is yes, he could work at a pickle store. Because then aliens can still invade the pickle store in episode 5. It doesn't matter. If you want to get fired later, you can figure out how to do it. My boss stomps all over my soul furiously and regularly.
This is Max again.
How do I get paid more for enduring that? I think this person's baiting me. I got a book on tape at an airport. Something about lion taming. It was a guy that tamed lions wrote a book for CEOs or something. He was writing a book, but it was all about, and I listened to it for a while. It was kind of interesting. He was talking about basically how to make assholes think that doing what you want is their idea, because that's what a lion tamer does. Obviously, lions can rip your head off if they want to, but what lion tamers are doing is convincing the lion that, like, for instance, when they stand on those stupid little pedestals, the lion thinks that it's defending the pedestal. It thinks that that's its pedestal, and that the lion tamer really wishes it could be up there, and that the lion's going like, "Stay away from my shitty little bongo drum that I'm standing on," and the audience is going, "What a dumbass lion!" The lion is really proud of itself. So it was all. The answer to the question is you somehow you have to trick your dipshit boss into thinking that he would be even dumber for not paying you more. I don't know how to do that. Otherwise, I would have picked a better job than I picked. I don't have any bosses, and as soon as I do, I got 3 years before they're all over my ass and fire me. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I got fired.
What do you think? I mean, this might be beating a dead horse, but what do you think their justification is for firing you? What would they say in the like if you like?
Sorry, what was the question?
What would they? Not their press release answer, but why do you think they fired you?
Oh, it's cost-benefit ratio. The NBC moved the show to Friday night at 8:30, and said only 13 episodes. So that's NBC saying you're basically almost canceled. We're about to cancel you. So what is Sony going to do with that clock, with that shot clock? They're not going to give the ball to Psycho Pants. Like what am I going to do with 13 episodes? It's not going to be the thing that makes NBC go, "Oh shit, we had you wrong. Get this guy back at 8. Put him at 9:30 on Thursday. This guy's the best." If your motivation is like to get a show running and syndicated and as long as possible, you definitely, it's not a dumb decision to bid me adieu. It's a boring answer. I'm just an asshole that doesn't. I don't take notes very well. I don't like. You could give me 5 notes, and if one of them was what I was going to do already, I'll say that's a good idea. But it doesn't. It only fools them for three seasons. Will drugs be allowed in Harmontown? Yes, of course. I don't.
Would there be some drugs that you would not allow?
No, there can't be any. Honestly, like, we have a big problem in this country right now with like momentum. Like, we are all freaked out because we go, "Oh shit, if you legalize this tomorrow," whether it's a certain kind of gun, and all this stuff makes perfect sense, but it's only given the situation that we have. That's why we have to start over. Because the truth is, hand grenades should be able to grow on trees, but we should have self-control. Like we can't, because what if some guy just in his garage invents a laser wand that if you touch people with it, their body just disappears? Does that guy get to be the most successful person in the world because he invented that? Because he can't be prosecuted for his crimes. He's just going to go up to people. You don't have any evidence to convict him. Like, the mailman comes over and he goes, "Fuck you, I don't like your cheekbones," and he makes him disappear. Does that guy get to be president? Or is it wrong to hurt people and make them dead? It's obviously the latter. It's wrong to hurt people. We have to remember that that's really the star we're pursuing here. We can't get too hung up in how to make nobody hurt anybody. I told the story of, I never told it again because we did record it and I'd like to put it on the website, but it's an old classic. It's my origin story, the story of how my dad beat the living fuck out of me and my brother for playing with matches. It's really my radioactive spider, because it explains almost everything I can think of about my me as I am. So my brother and I got caught playing with matches. My brother loved setting stuff on fire. He's fascinated with fire, and he was 5 years older than me. So we went out in the back bushes and we gathered some dry leaves, and he had a book of matches, and we were lighting little piles of twigs and stuff on fire. And my mom came looking for us, and she caught us playing with matches. So for this offense, as with all major ones, the misdemeanor was always the wooden spoon. My mom could handle that. She had a big bag of wooden spoons because they would break on your ass, just hit you. Got a lot of wooden spoon people in the audience. I can hear you. I can feel you. For the felony offenses, like playing with matches, big deals. It was wait till your father gets home. And my dad didn't get home until like 9 p.m. usually. He was a very hard worker, and a lot of his job seemed to involve some Southern comfort. So
you don't mean porch swings and.
So it's wait till your dad gets home. You got caught playing with matches. I'm telling you, this is going to be really bad, says Mom. My brother's freaked out. He didn't usually freak out very easily. This is a guy who once crawled out the bedroom window in his Spider-Man pajamas just to go fight crime. I admired his moxie. He didn't seem to be afraid of much, but he certainly he knew that we were in for it. My mom took me aside and said, "Daniel, you know those little stories you like to write?" Because I did like to write the little things that go, Dan Harmon in the Fabulous Time Tunnel by Dan Harmon. like just these scrawling, just write on typing paper and staple them together. I go, I wrote a book. Pay attention to me. Once upon a time, there was a bear in the bathtub. La. Pulitzer, please. I'm precocious. My mom goes, I want you to write one of your stories for me while you wait for your dad to get home. I want you to write me a story about a little boy that gets caught playing with matches and regrets it.
Was she not terrified for your safety? Like she was like, we need to mitigate the beating that's about to go on, or is she?
I feel like part of her was going, let's not lose the lesson. But I think most of her was going like, I want to fuck with you. I am basically the bad guy from Tango and Cash right now. I want to just kind of psychologically, I don't know. My mom's going to listen to this and go, that's not what I was doing. Fuck you, you're so old, how do you know? How do you know what you did? What'd you have for breakfast this morning, Mom?
As a special request, as the story continues, whenever she says anything, can you say it as Jack Palance?
from Tango and Cash. Yes. I want you to write one of your stories. No, I'm not going to do that. But so I write stories, and I want you to write it about a little boy who gets caught playing with matches and learns to regret it. So I think in my head, if I tackle this adequately, this could be my ticket. So I sit down and I write, once upon a time, there's a little boy, I was like, just lose that fucking bear in the bathtub shit. This is the real deal, Harmon.
No, but it's who you are. It's who you are.
Write what you know. And a little boy got caught playing with matches, and then his dad came home, and I just went into all this detail about where they're lighting leaves on fire, and they thought it was a good idea, but boy did they not know that it wasn't. And at the end of my story, the dad comes home, and he reads the story that the little boy wrote. See, this, you're already getting it. This is why I got fired. It's like, this is confusing. It's a story about a story.
You were meta even back then.
I think just lazy, but yes, it came to be called meta. At the time, we just called it zero research. At the end of the story, the dad comes home, reads the story, and realizes that the kid felt so bad for playing with matches that he didn't need his spanking. And I gave it to my mom, and my dad still wasn't home, and my mom just read it in silence. She went there, yeah, this is really good. I don't buy the ending. For real. Not kidding.
Third act problems.
Yeah. So I'm sorry I don't handle notes well. Sometimes it means I'm gonna die inside.
But she's right. You should have said. And then my father came in and he kicked the shit out of me. And I called the police.
Right.
He's now serving 15 to 20 years in a minimum security prison. And
the neighbors came over and said, "What the fuck is going on? No one else is doing this. You're insane. This is like a horror movie." Yeah, my parents always said, like, later when they, you know, everyone's parents, if there's anyone in this room that's ever had like hands-on parents, you know the story. Like, they always go, you know, they turn into little raisins, and they're fine. You play pinochle with them, and they're like, you can never that. But they always go like, it was the '70s. Everyone was doing it. And I'm like, name 3 people who were doing it. John McEnroe? What was that? What was that? Mary Lou Retton? Who was doing it in the '70s? Did you see it on a Wheaties box? What are you talking about? So yeah, then my dad came home, and the rest of the story is terrible. But I never got my spanking actually, because my brother's was so bad that there was a medical
Wait, was this a tonsil
emergency.
one?
Yeah. My brother had recently had his tonsils taken out, so
shit takes a fucking turn.
And my dad often. I feel so bad if my parents listen to this, because they're good people. Everybody should understand that. Now that we're podcasting it, I feel like you can't.
I think the statute of limitations is over.
No, but not on their emotions. Like,
all right, you're probably right.
Yeah, you know what? It would be like hitting my parents with a belt to talk about. So it would hurt them at a very vulnerable time in their lives when they can't do anything about it.
How about this, Dan? Why don't you tell the story? We'll record it, but before we air it, and we have the option to edit it, have your mom and dad write a letter or a story. About a son who grows up to be a famous writer, has a podcast, and can fucking lampoon those cocksuckers.
Come on, you met my parents. You love them. They're great.
They're great.
Everyone's great. The whole world is great. It's how we end up in these rules where we're sealed off from each other, not understanding things, acting out. My dad came home. Matches. All right. Well, I know what I have to do because my dad's dad did it and his dad's dad did it. Never mind the fact that all these people are insane. My dad took off his belt, and he always had this catchphrase. He'd say, "This is going to hurt me a lot more than it's going to hurt you." But he was always so drunk he'd get it mixed up half the time, and just say the scariest thing in the world. "This is going to hurt you more than it's going to hurt me." I know that. It's like it's terrible.
Yeah, and that's not the way it's supposed to work.
Yeah,
that's how cold I am, and how
it's like if a nurse said you're gonna feel a large stabbing in your arm.
You're gonna hate it.
And then the blood's gonna get siphoned out of your body. But just think of puppies burning while I do it.
Hi, I'm Jeff B. Davis from Harmontown, sitting here with Spencer Crittenden.
Hey guys, we're here to talk to you about Rhetoric Coffee.
Are you guys coffee drinkers? Are you junkies? Do you get up in the morning and you're just no good until you have that cup of coffee? Or do you just like to sweat a lot and get the shits?
Yeah, no, that second one is definitely me. I like to sweat a lot and get the shits. Does that apply to this ad at all?
Strangely, yes. We're talking about Rhetoric Coffee. Rhetoric Coffee doesn't just give you unwanted diarrhea. It's the best subscription service coffee you'll ever taste in your life.
Rhetoric commissions original art directly from comic book artists and then hand screen prints them on each bag. Each one you receive has a special life and is a unique organic work of art. We got this bag right here.
They gave us bags of coffee. I'm looking. This is me crinkling a bag of Rhetoric coffee.
Look, I'm opening it right now.
Oh my God! It smells like heaven. It smells like being like a angsty teen. Spencer is actually eating full coffee beans right now.
They're good.
Dear God,
they're great.
Oh, somebody call the police. Not only are they fun to chew on, you could probably make coffee out of them, and you get to feel good about drinking that coffee because it's what I call ethical coffee. Rhetoric goes above and beyond fair trade, not just for their coffee, but in how they pay the artists that put the art on the bag with the coffee in it that Spencer is now currently chewing.
Oh, yeah. Everyone wins.
You're a fucking monster.
Their relationship with their artists allows the artists to continue making prints of their original work while allowing them full use for Rhetoric's projects. Everyone wins.
Everybody wins.
Everyone wins.
Each roast is completely unique. You won't taste these complex flavors anywhere else. Their commitment to quality is top-notch. They are drinking what they are selling. They're getting high on their own supply.
You know, they say not to do that, but it's also, I guess, a mark of quality in some senses.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go to a drug dealer that doesn't get high on his own supply. That makes me feel like he doesn't believe in the product.
It might not be good business sense, but it's definitely, you know, a good product.
Yeah. Go to rhetoriccoffee.com and sign up now and use the promo code FERAL, F-E-R-A-L, for a 30% off discount. Go to FERAL, F-E-R-A-L, for 30% off your first roast. You never forget your first roast, Spencer.
I never will.
The first roast is the deepest.
That's RHETORIC coffee.com. Sign up and use the promo code FERAL for 30% off your first roast.
Coffee so good, you can chew it.
Did you just get a bunch of wild Spencer chewing just to have?
Now, what kind of father do you think you would make if you had kids? Let's say you had two boys. Let's say like 5 years from now or 6 years from now, you've got a 5-year-old and a 1-year-old. What kind of father do you think you're prepared to be?
I don't know, man. That really scares me. My girlfriend's in the audience, but I was telling a story last week of how I was working on shelving units, and like Aaron was there, and I cut the shelves wrong at Home Depot, and they didn't fit for like the third time, back and forth, and I just I kicked shit and threw shit. Sometimes the cat, like, before I figured out what the cat was doing, like why it was meowing with turns out it had a toy in its mouth and it wanted to give me the toy. But like, so the cat would just meow constantly, and I was like, I don't know, I'd get up and chase it. I'd be like, shut the fuck up! I get angry.
Because the cat was giving you notes? Because I don't know if you've ever met a 2-year-old. They give you
a
notes.
lot of notes. Yeah, they're not called the constructive twos. No, I'm aware of this. I've met my friends' children, and I've read all about it. And then it's only 13 years before they're adults that can really like Dino's daughter now, adorable little Tigger. I don't know if I'm allowed to say names of people who aren't even legally allowed to defend themselves. But I'm not going to say anything bad about her. She's a little woman now. We've known her ever since she was a little kid. Our friend Dino had a little daughter, and you used to just like. I remember when she loved Bananas Foster. It was a dessert that Dino would make for her, and so I would do a little character called Bananas Foster. I'd go like, "Hey, I'm Bananas Foster," and I'd do a little dance, and she'd giggle. I was like a rock star.
Yeah.
And now she's just texting, and like, every once in a while I catch a cold glance, and she's like, "Blech." And I want to be like, "Fuck you, man! Just because I'm not good at football." That. There's that too. Like kids, like you've only got 12 years before they're actually like that. When they hit puberty, they become like. Now they're rolling their eyes at you, and they actually have eyes to roll, and like using sarcasm and stuff. Like that's only 12 years after it was adorable for 1 year. It's like I'm prepared.
Do you want to have children?
I do really badly, but I'm terrified that I'm not going to be able to handle it.
Was the whimper how you said that?
I feel. I really do. I'm terrified I'm going to be a bad dad, and I'm also I definitely the solution isn't to be one of these horrible pussy dads that are all over LA. You see people walking around Target and the kids just screaming their head off, and the people are just going like, "Martin, use your indoor voice," or whatever. Like come on, shame the kid.
Yeah,
it's public. Like my mom only had to have one conversation with me. Like she didn't need a wooden spoon for that. Like I said some shit too loud in a Target, and she was like, "You don't talk like that outside the house." And if she was allowed to, she would have said N-word. Like. It seemed like that was coming, didn't it?
Back in the 70s, everybody was doing.
There was only one conversation that I was like, we don't. My mom would say, and she would say it logically. Like I remember the logic seeping into my brain. Like being a movie theater, and it was like, what if everyone was talking right now? Shut up.
Yeah.
I go, oh yeah, she's right. She's got a point.
I remember I was at a friend's house and I said something kind of rude in front of like the kids that were like I went to school with. It was like a new school for me. I'd moved into a new neighborhood, and I said something kind of cocky or suspend your disbelief. I came in a little high on some kid. I probably said something kind of arrogant and shitty. And the mother, who I'd known, a few months, pulled me into the kitchen and just went whack across my face. Just like,
another woman slapped you, not your mom. Is that what you said?
Some woman whom I will never remember her name. She just pulled me in the kitchen. Like, Jeffrey, can I talk to you? And I was like 12, and she just clobbered me across the face. And I was like, whoa! And she's like, "You're not better than my son."
Whoa!
And I was like, "Well, methinks ye protest too much." So I'm.
That's your takeaway.
No. So I'm fucking her. So long story short. And I mean fucking her, Dan.
Well, yeah.
I am really like.
She's getting that 12-year-old vitamin JD. Should we do a? Should we do a? I remember one time when I was 12, around that age. I remember this odd. This actually bonded me with my mom in a way, like because I suddenly realized the cycle of abuse that was really happening. She told me to feed the cat, and I went, yeah. And I as I said that, I opened the closet door where the cat food was, and I bent over to grab the can of cat food, and I felt this unexpected sharp kick in my tailbone, like really hard, like Charlie Brown going for the football hard, like she just was put everything into it, but she wasn't Charlie Brown, and my tailbone was there. And if you've ever been kicked in the tailbone, and also just any kind of unexpected impact with your body, I had a can of cat food in my hand, and was 12 years old, so I'm like cusping, I have testosterone like starting to kind of go through my blood a little bit. I probably had a little wispy like Hitler mustache or something, like a little prepubescent like little wisp on my upper lip, and I instinctively, because some mammoth or saber-toothed tiger is like kicking me in the tailbone, I wheeled around hefting this object in my hand, this can of cat food. And this is 80s cat food. It used to come in big ass cans that you had to open with a device. They hadn't figured out how to portion them yet. And I turned around with this thing, and my mom, who had just kicked me in the tailbone, she made this sound and this face that was like, like she wilted, like, and I
man,
and I said, it was like, oh, I get it. It's just like white trash, like larva becoming a bee, like I'm supposed to do this now. And I was like, what did you do? And she's like, I thought you were being snotty. Like she didn't know what she was doing, and she knew what I was supposed to do. And she was okay with it, and I literally broke that cycle there in the pantry that day for myself, because I was like, Jesus Christ, no, I'm not gonna bludgeon you to death like Chris Penn at the end of Shortcuts, and then have kids of my own and find a nice closet to store our cat food in. I'm not gonna keep doing this. All right, we had some success with this as a closer for last week. We got a bowl full of questions. We could do a lightning round. Speed round where all of my answers will be 5 words.
Okay.
No. 3-word answers. I like their attitude.
And in honor of Aaron McGathy's soundboard last week, I don't have the soundboard, but just Aaron, I want you to do a lightning round. If you can yell it loud enough, the theme song. Everybody, welcome to the Harmontown lightning round. If you could have sex with any mythical creature, which would you pick and why? Oh, you wish you had those 5 words now.
Cerebus, more mouths.
I'm going to read this as written. Would ever write a play?
Yes, would. Lady.
Are you a conspiracy theorist? If so, do you have one in particular you firmly believe?
Well, Jews... It's a joke. I mimed getting shot in the head.
It's a mime. There'll be a gunshot later on. How can I get my producing career back on track?
I'm offended, asshole.
Oh yeah.
Because that's a bit, right? It's not like Michael Bay's sitting in the back that really wants to know that from me.
I think there might be somebody who actually had a producing career. Or no, you're saying they're just
they're kind of going.
They're taking the piss out of you.
Yeah.
All right. Well then,
I haven't lost enough weight, but I have a nice black shirt. Should I wear that? Like they're kind of like.
How do I get a podcast without a structure?
Yeah. Yeah. Should I just do it?
How do I raise 200,000 plus on Kickstarter without an established brand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now they're coming right at you.
Again, dickhead.
How many hand jobs? By the way, that was one of the questions in the Tao Te Ching.
At least 20.
Fair enough. How do you maintain hope for humanity after things like The Dark Knight Rises shooting? Ooh.
Oh.
This is Max, right? That's not you? Okay.
He's talking silly.
Wait, no. Let's take it serious. Does that count as a word?
No.
Does that?
No.
That's 3 words. No. A no. It's a no. Lassie, what are you trying to say? You okay?
Take it serious.
Realize.
Painted himself into a corner.
Mankind fails. Sorry.
Aaron, theme song. All right. Got time for 10 more. How do I pass a piss drug test?
Penny in armpit.
He's not lying. Uh-oh. This one's just blank. Do you want to answer that one?
So symbolic. Right?
If I blow a guy to get a job in Hollywood, should I swallow?
Dad, you're drunk.
Thank you very much for coming to Harmontown, everybody. We did it. One more time.
You want to thank the people?
I'll thank the people, or you want to thank the people? First of all, your mayor, Dan Harmon. Would you one more time? I'm Jeff Davis, your comptroller. I'd like to thank Katie Levine for doing our audio recording. Zach McKeever, our technician guy. Emily Gordon, the producer. Danielle Kramer, program director. Dustin Marshall, podcast producer. Mo Favelwap, on-site director. And Jenny Fine, our fantastic artiste. And I want to thank you all one more time for sitting down and answering the hard questions, everybody. We will see you next week in Harmontown.
I can't believe how cold it is. It's so cold in here. Don't you think you can get off phone and look at me now? Now you think so. I think it's so cold. It's so cold. As a branch of the United States government,
As a branch of the United States government, it is the mission of the National Security Agency to assess and flag citizens of the country who may present a threat to its security. The NSA has clearance to wiretap by any means necessary.
Tapped. Incidental recordings of private conversations from the files of the NSA.
now on feralaudio.com.
Hello, beautiful. I'm Amy Errett, founder of Madison Reed, a hair color company I named after my daughter. One of the things I value most in life is time. Time to spend with my daughter, time to spend with family, and the time I put into my company that's reinventing the way women color their hair. The busiest, most successful women I know use Madison Reed, the amazing hair color hack. In under an hour and for less than $25, Madison Reed delivers gorgeous, shiny, multi-dimensional, healthy-looking hair with an ammonia-free formula. You'll look like you just came from a salon, but the reality is you have more me time to do what you love. Things get busy. Let us take care of you and your hair. Find your perfect shade at madison-reed.com and get 10% off plus free shipping on your first color kit. Use code NEW. That's code NEW. Try it. Love it. That's the beauty of Madison Reed.